That's right. I am a very conservative, traditional man. I am not into the kind of flexing or braggadocio that most members of this community take part in. Instead, I enjoy my watches for what they are, watches. I play it straight, and I play it close to the vest. That's how I've always played it. If you play it differently, you're welcome to share, but I only sing to music that's on the sheet, if you catch my meaning. I bought this particular Aquaterra because it appealed to my old school values. It has Omega's new coaxial movement. It's sleek and has enough flash that you can feel the breath, but not the kiss. It reminds me of myself. Am I a modern man? Yes. Like this watch, I take care of my appearance. I'm new age, well put together and under the radar. We're both always on standby and ready to put the work in, whether that is in practical, emotional, artistic, or even sexual application. We aren't here to show boat, for instance. Take the man I met at my AD's most recent summer soiree. It's an event they hold each year for their clients. Free drinks, cigars, music, food. It's a lot of fun. My wife attended with me, and we decided to enjoy the weekend at a hotel together. While we were mingling, I had a drink with a gentleman that was about my age. I never asked. He had an excellent haircut, a deep tan, and his outfit was very eye-catching. He had an aura of sexuality about him that I picked up on right away. He was wearing a Speedmaster. To describe him simply, he was new school. My wife, despite being young and sexy, was chattering with a group of hens about necklaces and gemstones. I took this as an opportunity to get to know this gentleman better. My wife and I serve one another financially, emotionally, and sexually. I want for nothing from her, yet on occasion I find myself yearning for a dish I have never tasted. While women are petite, soft, and submissive, I sometimes give in to curious desires I have for the rough, dominant, and aggressive traits men bring to the sexual table. I always put out feelers, and I always put out signals. I'm always on standby, so to speak. I'm a heterosexual man, but I find this kind of catch-and-release type of game to be very rewarding. This man was no exception. We had a few drinks, and I tried to steer the conversation toward a more adult theme. If we're at the watering hole, I want to see nature in action. Unlike most men that are shy, withdrawn, or unsure, he understood the rules right away. His quickness and confidence was enough to take my breath away. We separated ourselves from our crowd, but we couldn't find any privacy. People drinking inside, smoking cigars outside, mingling, talking, chatting. There was no escaping it. This only stoked the flames of our desire even more. I could tell he wanted me, and would do practically anything to claim his prize. I'm a heterosexual man. I've been married many years to my wife. It all sounds so surreal. At an event for a jewelry store, behind the building, pushed up against the concrete wall, kissing and groping one another. I'm a very conservative man, and I admit this kind of behavior is highly irregular and almost, trashy. I had to stop myself, despite my erection. I could feel his against my thigh, so close to one another we were. I needed to have release. I considered sneaking off to the bathroom to masturbate, but instead decided to make plans with my wife in the hotel that evening. When I found her back inside, she could sense right away that I was sexed up. I was of a hot mood and full of lust and desire. I didn't have to talk, and neither did she. She could tell just by looking at me. That night we made love, twice with fervor and roughness. I could have climaxed immediately, just thinking about my encounter with that man, but I chose to hold onto the bow, so to speak. It was for my benefit as much as my wife's. I always keep to myself, but sometimes it's important to share scenarios about our lives and our watches, especially if they are scenarios where we are tested. I acted in a way that wasn't becoming of a man of my stature. I acted in a way that was like that man at the soiree. It was loose, careless, and new school. I am old school. That situation and this watch remind me of that fact. It is what it is.